Hey, it's Vagabond here. In this brand new video, me and my friend are going to the dying cities of the Middle Urals. There was a developed network of coal mines in eastern districts of the pyrim territory. With the collapse of the Soviet Union, the coal industry degraded and many mines were closed. The settlements of miners began to die out, which was accompanied by criminalization and the impoverishment of their residents. Most of miners were relocated to more prosperous areas of the region at the expense of mining companies. Nevertheless, thousands of people continue to exist in settlements with no future. The first point on the map of our trip was the Museum of Political Repressions called Pyrim 36. It is located 100 kilometers from the city of Pyrim on the territory of a former forced labor camp established in 1946. After the death of Stalin and the subsequent large-scale amnesties, the contingent of the prisoners of the colony changed. Instead of criminals, domestic offenders, and those who fell a victim to an incalculable number of the brutal Soviet ordinances, the colony was filled with former law officers, court staff, and prosecutors convicted of various crimes. In 1972, the colony received its first political prisoners. Among the prisoners were authors and distributors of anti-communist literature, members of human rights communities, religious, national, and other organizations. The Pyrim 36 camp was closed in 1988. The museum was opened here in the 90s to show the living conditions of the prisoners.
В принципе, отсюда все уже видно.
The next checkpoint of our journey is Usva village, whose only coal mine was closed in 1996 due to unprofitability. Nowadays, Usva is a popular place for rafting enthusiasts. A few kilometers from the village you can enjoy the Usva Pillars, a well-known natural landmark of the Urals. Close to Usva, there is a village of Yubilene, the most dilapidated on our way. There we managed to chat with locals to find out what is it like to live in a village that no one is interested in.
Вот дом хороший был, жили здесь. Вот этот аварийный считался. Нас с хорошего дома в аварийный переселили, вот подремонтировать, что-то ерунду наделали. А теперь этот аварийный выгоняет отсюда. А мы что? Пацанки, что ли, схватили чемоданчики и побежали? Никуда переселяться не будем.
Нам некуда ехать, там на кладбище.
Не заказываю наперед.
А здесь делать нечего. Молодежь.
Нет, здесь хорошо.
Жить тут.
Так,
Работы-то нет.
Работы нет. Пенсионеров хорошо жить.
This settlement is inhabited. Its population is about 7 or maybe 800 people, but it used to be something like 10 and even 12,000 people in the best times. Now it's almost abandoned because the only coal mine here was closed after the break of Soviet Union. Hundreds of people, thousands of people lost their job. They left the city, and now it's like semi-abandoned settlement. Exploring one of the abandoned apartments, we can conclude that it was the main room. It could potentially be the only room in this apartment. Here was sort of the storeroom for clothes, so some kind of wardrobe. Here used to be a kitchen according to this little compartment, and here used to be a bathroom with the toilet. Panoramic view from the third floor. As we can see, some buildings are completely inhabited, as the one on the left side. In front of us there are two blocks of flats. They are totally abandoned, and on the foreground is some sort of old dachas, or it could be some sort of garages. In the local store, we didn't find a shortage of necessary goods. Here you can find most of the basic products, as well as household chemicals at average Russian prices. This room was probably some kind of grocery store, according to the sign. Information for customers. Потребности, цель, мотив.
Студента группы, тут был какой-то колледж.
In the backyard of one of the abandoned buildings, everything is covered with trash.
Путешествие по миру, переезд в СССР, смерть Билибина.
Это план на жизнь?
Не знаю. Какая жертва хорошая.
This is the cultural centers of the settlement. It is closed, but it is decorated with some kind of graffiti devoted to the topic of miners. Basically, here is some of their instruments, a head of a miner, and perhaps this is the imitation of coal, or I don't know. In such a typical building, we we found such a typical church, which is closed. This is a school of Yubilene, probably reconstructed, but the classes here are extremely small. A random guy that we met on the street told us that he studies in 6th grade and there are only 5 people in his class. The entire street of uninhabited 2-story buildings.
Another half-dead settlement in the surrounds is the village of Shumikinski. It was founded in 1947. The settlement was partly built by captured Germans in the Second World War, which is now reminiscent of paved streets and 2-story German houses built in the 50s. The coal mine in Shumikinski was closed in 1997, and almost no new businesses have emerged since then.
At the first glance it looks like a newspaper, but in fact this is tourist magazine. Produced in Soviet Union in 1977. Earlier the settlements of Kiesel coal basin were connected with the railway. You can see the remains of sleepers. The railway was disassembled probably in 90s. Now this is the road, the street of the settlement. Despite the fact that we are approaching the center of the village, we can still meet some abandoned buildings. Some of them are semi-abandoned, like this one. But general atmosphere in this village is not really depressive. Perhaps because of the weather, perhaps because of numerous children on the streets.
Very close to Shumikinski there is a well-known natural attraction of the Kiesel coal basin, a stone city. This rock mass is composed of sandstones. They formed in the delta of a large river that flowed into the Pyrim Sea several 100 million years ago. Later, as a result of tectonic processes, deep cracks and voids formed between the sandstones. Over time, frost, wind and temperature created the bizarre forms of the stone city.
Это просто мусорное
Вот
дерево теперь.
это да. Я не знаю, что сказать на этот счет.
After spending the night near the stone city, we reached the town of Kiesel. In Kiesel we saw an old water tower and a couple of abandoned houses. In a nearby urban-type settlement, we found the ruins of college. In addition, there was a number of artifacts of the Soviet era in that village, including a monument to miners, a monument to Gagarin, Stalinist architecture and a park overgrown with grass. I hope that in the future I will be able to explore this part of the Pyrim territory better. We definitely missed a lot of interesting places. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you for watching this video. Don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel not to miss new videos. See you!